Aye.
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 Motion carried 7-0. Resolution 1819-129, approval of fuel bid.
So moved.
Motion by Dick, second by
Second.
Joe.
Who was second?
Joe.
Cheapest it's been in many a year.
Diesel.
Yeah.
Diesel down at Costco is about $2.20-something a gallon. Actually, Costco in the Falls. 80 cents different from up here sometimes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But the first one we'd have to pay for, you know, it's a good price too, but we'd have to pay that now. All of it.
Yeah.
The other one, that's the maximum it can be. If it goes lower than that, it'll get lower.
Any questions on this fuel bid?
Aye.
Dick?
Aye.
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 Motion carried 7-0. Resolution 1819-130, approval of monetary gift from the Touchdown Club and Mayville Athletic Booster Club.
I'll move.
Motion by Norm, second by
Second.
Joe. Tom, you want to
You bet.
tell us about this?
Sure. Well, the new fitness facility is ready to move in as we speak right now. But we need some equipment to furnish it. So I've been working with the Kickoff Club for years, the Football Booster Club, and now in my role as athletic director, I've been working with the Mayville Athletic Booster Club as well. And I got the groups together, and I'd like to get started in that room sooner rather than later for our athletes to work in their athletic enhancement programs and get that going for sure in the second semester and into the summer. So I asked them, I actually got a group of people together, Scott Hilbert, Stu Struck, Sig Schecker, Pat McFadden, Lee Zarna, and myself, and we went out and talked to Summit Fitness, Life Fitness, and BSN and got quotes. And for our athletic needs, we're looking at somewhere around $70,000 is what we would need to furnish it with the athletic needs for that facility. We have quotes including fuel, shipping, installation, up to about $85,000. But we wouldn't go over that, and I think we can stick to right around $75,000 all told. But the Kickoff Club donated, I have a check here for $10,000 from the Kickoff Club that they're willing to put forth on this. And I have another check in this envelope for $25,000 from the Mayville Athletic Booster Club for a total of $35,000 I'd like to present to you tonight. So, give that to Mr. President.
Thank you very much,
There you
Tom.
go. And the plan is, if I can ask the board to approve funding for the balance of the athletic needs, I can get that, I can get the equipment ordered within the next week before we leave for Christmas break or holiday break. And that equipment will take 8 to 10 weeks to get here. So right around a little bit after the start of the second semester, our physical education classes could start using the new fitness center. We have athletes that use it in the morning, athletes that use it in the afternoon. It gets utilized, it will get utilized very, very much. So I'm asking the board for permission to authorize the spending of an additional up to $85,000 total for the athletic department needs for that fitness facility. So,
One of the things is, I'm reading your notes here, is that the goal is also to continue fundraising.
yes, yes. Last summer, the football program, we had a alumni golf outing. It was a social outing. I had over 75 people there, and they were like, well, where do we spend our money? And I said, well, this is just a social outing right here. This wasn't anything about fundraising. So I'm going to work with that organization to start a donation campaign to raise more funds for the athletic needs that we have. I'm going to get a committee together between the Kickoff Club, the Booster Club, the current coaches, alumni, and we're going to get creative on how to raise more funds as well for this program. At this point, we're not talking that much about it yet. We're just trying to get things started, but definitely I'll be tapping into the alumni. I do not plan on tapping into Mayville area businesses for this. I plan on doing this through alumni and other creative ways to raise funds to help offset the costs here.
When do you plan on moving the equipment down?
Well, the equipment that's currently existing is about 30 years old. It's kind of mismatched a little bit, and I plan on utilizing that equipment. I've got a group of men together to disassemble the racks that are there on December 26th. And we're hoping to utilize the old equipment for 8 weeks, 10 weeks until the new equipment comes. Now, some of the bids that we have that's not included in the quotes that we have from Life Fitness, they actually have a broker that will come and buy the old equipment. It's not going to be a lot of money, but it would be something, and then they will take the old equipment away for us, so we don't have to worry about selling it or disposing of it.
I was up there, I can't even wiggle a bike.
And that's one of the things too, it's like I noticed,
Yep.
Tom, you're specifically speaking about athletic
Right.
equipment. There's also the physical education department itself. So when you're here tonight, you're speaking
I'm
solely
speaking-
about
I'm
those.
speaking solely of the athletic department side of things. This is for the athletic enhancement program that we do for our sport teams and our athletes. Physical education wise, they're looking at purchasing some more stationary machines, perhaps new elliptical bikes, aerobic type equipment. But in the meantime, right now, my plan is to move all those bikes, all the elliptical machines, and move the 3 power racks downstairs, so we can start utilizing that as soon as we can.
Yes, the power racks, those are the ones that are,
Those are the ones that are pretty pricey.
Yeah, and they're fairly new, the ones that are there.
The ones up there?
Yeah.
Some have been there a pretty long time, yeah.
Oh, the ones on the back wall, but the ones in the middle I thought were new.
Well, I can speak, I know when I was here way back in 2005, there was 2 of them
That's
here.
new, yes.
It's new yet. Well, you know,
the
but
space is set up to have
it's
6.
set up to have 6.
That's
And
the key.
when I was asked in the planning stages of this, that would, 6 racks like that would really make my life easier from a coaching standpoint, where we can get the entire football program in there at one time to lift, rather than having to lift in shifts like we have been for the last 3 years since I've been back. So we'll be able to use, have the middle school kids come up and lift after school with the high school kids in separate. Right now, we're doing it in shifts again. The middle schoolers come after the high schoolers are done, and it's not really fair to the middle school kids when we got that nice room on. So 6 racks will really take care of our needs that we're looking for there.
Is there a tent for the stage after it's empty, or?
The goal is it's gonna wrestling.
Oh,
What the objective is.
well, then you can leave the rubber mat there, or does that take a different mat?
We're actually Tom's looking at new mats, that kind of stuff.
It would take, we'd have to put like 1.5 mats in there, wrestling mats in there, and they'd have to be cut to size, and then we'd have to pad the walls, and then it could be used for wrestling.
So we're looking at that, and ideally, that's what the objective is.
So is the plan to borrow the remainder, the balance, and then pay it back with the funds that you,
Yes, that's the
Okay.
plan. That's-
and have you thought about putting the equipment on some kind of for sale site
Well, we've,
to try to sell it before you get nothing for it from the broker?
yeah, we haven't really talked too much about that. We've been mainly in the planning stages of what to do with the new spaces and how to fill it, and talking to different vendors. And like I said, I've had 3 different vendors come through, and they walked through the room and sat down with us, and so we're in the process of figuring out what we need, and then we'll figure out what we can do to get rid of that equipment for a decent price. But I'm not too optimistic in selling used fitness equipment to get a great price for that, but we would definitely explore it.
We had our equipment sold from the woods area, and the guy didn't show up. That really made a mess.
One of the things too, it's like, the fitness equipment, we did talk about the sale of it and the concern about the liability that goes along with it.
Yeah, you know, when you sell equipment like that, that can be, you know, dangerous, and if you sell it, you might be on the hook for some liability to it, so that was the nice thing, that Life Fitness came up and they said they'd have a broker, they'd refurbish it all, and then they'd
It wouldn't, we already had a state, all of our stuff goes up on the, like, state site though. I mean, so if we know what they're going to give us for a price,
Yeah, we can put it up
it
there.
certainly can't hurt to put it on.
Sure,
You've got some local groups too that,
Yeah.
might be
athletic groups
interested.
that
Yeah.
might wanna use it.
So I think it's worth a shot.
yeah, we'll definitely try everything,
Mhm.
sure, you know.
Okay.
Are we gonna run a golf tournament again?
Yeah.
Are you gonna have it a little earlier in the summer?
The Booster Club one,
No,
the alumni
the
one?
alumni one.
The alumni one is still gonna, we set the date already for like the third Friday in July.
Oh, okay, it's a little earlier than,
Like, I think it's the 19th maybe.
okay, yeah, because then you're gonna be competing with the Booster Club almost.
Yeah, and, you know, and what was really neat about those two events, the Booster event, was a whole different clientele really for the most part.
Yeah,
There was a little overlap, but, and one of the things when I set that up, it wasn't designed to raise money at the time.
Yeah,
It was just to bring all the
yeah.
old football players back together. And we did have one there from the Ray Dunn era, which was quite impressive.
Schwarzbauer?
Yep.
Okay.
Boy, was there.
Any questions on, for the approval of this very generous monetary gift from the two organizations? Nora?
Aye.
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 Aye. Motion carried 7-0.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Maybe we'll just stand up there just in case we have questions
Okay.
on this next. We have resolution 1819-131, approval to purchase athletic equipment. So, motion by Nora, second by Dave.
I have the other three quotes, if you want those, I can make copies for everybody if you want them. They're not all apples to apples, as some are a little bit different based upon our needs rather than our wants. You can take those and pass those around. I think I got 7 of them.
Awesome.
Yeah, the BSN one was the lowest quote at this time, at about 64,000, but it didn't have shipping included into it. The 78,001, we would be removing a few items from there as we've been talking, but I didn't ask them to give us a new quote at this time. It is amazing how much that stuff costs.
So really what it's coming down to is, you're looking for like a not to exceed amount.
And the highest bid that we have there, that includes shipping and handling and fuel and installation, is from Life Fitness. And that's at the 84,600 one, I think, so I put on the document there not to exceed 85,000, but I can't believe it's gonna be that high when we get going.
Are the bids for identical equipment?
They are similar, and the Summit one was the first one that came in at 78,000. That was the first one that we received a while ago. And then the second one was from Life Fitness, and that was pretty much the same. I had about 75,000. And then Scott Hilber and I started knocking some things out of there that wouldn't necessarily be, they would be wants rather than needs. And then we gave that one to BSN, and that's why it came in at 64,000 for BSN. BSN is kind of a nice deal. We have an exclusive agreement with them, so it would be more financially beneficial for us to go that way, but we're waiting on a piece of equipment that we can look at and get our hands on, because BSN is just starting to get into Wisconsin with fitness equipment. So Onalaska is the only school right now that uses BSN product there. So we're getting a sample delivered tomorrow so we can take a good look at it and make sure that it's high quality stuff. We know that Life Fitness has great stuff and Summit has great stuff, so.
How do they warranty that stuff?
You know, with the racks, there's really not a big need for it because of the, and I'm not an expert on the warranty, I haven't asked, but I've never seen a rack fall apart, and it's heavy duty steel. The machines, on the other hand, that's where you got pulleys and pins and stuff, that's where the warranty would come in. This is all free weight type equipment that we're looking.
And some of the bikes we just had redone or whatever, there was
Yeah.
a date on them or something.
Those were new after I left in '08, so I don't know when those all came, but when I was here the first time, we didn't have all the bikes in the world.
That's the new stuff we have.
We're gonna use that and that would fall under the FIED umbrella, physical education, because for the athletic side of things, you know, in our summer programs and such, we go outside and we use the track and we use the hill and we do all that kind of fun stuff. And then, you know, we don't do a lot of aerobic activity in the fitness center.
Goal is to bring down as much of that as we possibly can.
Yeah, and I'm gonna plan on bringing it all down on December 26th, that's the
What do you mean bringing it down?
from the
From the
stage.
stage.
The stage.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
not
no.
an easy task.
Any of you would like to come on the 26th, I'm sure we'll.
Like I said, I couldn't even wiggle a bike.
They work with, which one of these companies helped actually do, is it Life Fitness?
Life Fitness did a lot of the design work for
Right.
us. Summit originally, and then we kind of transformed over to Life Fitness for a while, and then they were the leader, and then BSN came in.
So they work with a consultant for over a year and a half now. They're finally coming to a conclusion on what the layout should look like. And we're trying to repurpose as much of the equipment as possible. And in the design has always been more of these stations so that more kids can have access at a time. So they're just following through with the original vision.
And our physical education teachers are using the athletic enhancement program in their Life Fitness class, or their Get Fit class, 7th hour. So they're using the exact same program. We're printing it off for all of our FIED students as well as our athletes. So they're doing what we're doing. But the plan is, from a curriculum standpoint, is to add more beginner level, you know, moderate level, and then advanced fitness classes in physical education as well. So they're looking for some machines and whatnot.
I noticed the tech ed, they drew everything out on the floor before they put it in. That's a good idea to do that.
Yeah, and that's one of the cool things that we're gonna be able to do on December 26th. By moving everything down there, we can actually start putting it in spots before it gets too heavy with all the weights on there. So we can kind of get a visual as to what it's gonna look like and what the actual layout's going to be. And we're working very closely with the physical education department on how it should be laid out and what's the safest and what's gonna be most functional for everybody.
It's better if you get it right the first time.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of moving the stuff and, you know, twice, that's for sure. Not as old, as young as I once was.
So you got about a 49,000.
That would be the max.
Yeah.
That would be max.
Any questions for Tom on this resolution?
Any concerns, Scott, on the budget for this?
No, I'm planning on raising funds, and we do have a large ask that we're working on to include this as a part of it. So we'll see. No, because I know that this is a one-time deal coming from the athletic department, and that if we have a tough time raising funds, then the PE equipment that we're trying to work on, that'll be coming another year or two down the road. So the part that I'm optimistic about is we still are looking ahead for the summer 2019. We have some purchases, and if for some reason you've got a tough time, we're going to offset it then. So we don't have a lot of people coming and saying, hey, this is above and beyond asks right now. You're kind of the driving force. We also know the tech ed program has equipment, but we are working with their partners to get things donated, and we have been financially putting $25,000 a year towards equipment there. So we've made some good plugs. This is one area where the district has not. So I personally, I don't have any concerns about it because I can see the momentum that you have and the commitment. If for some reason you do end up with some roadblocks and obstacles, then we'll adjust our budget accordingly to cover it for the summer 2019.
But I will promise you that I'll do everything in my power to raise as many dollars as I possibly can.
One of the things I guess I've known that this has been coming, and I know that you've been raising funds, which is awesome. And we've got a space that's designed for that equipment, and without it, it's going to be kind of vacant. So
it needs to be filled.
These are some key pieces, like the other work we can do, and we can kind of grow as you go.
Right.
For here, these are the center of the entire fitness room, when you look at the layout, and without it, it's kind of, you're missing half.
Is any of this old equipment gonna be used anywhere else in the school?
No, the old equipment, either A, we're gonna bring it down and we're gonna use it there, or B, we're gonna put it up on a website for sale, and then also work with the broker. So if it's not for our use here, we're not gonna repurpose it to like the middle school, that kind of thing. So we're really trying to be as frugal as we can.
And you're looking to name it after Alex?
I would love to name it after Alex
Yeah.
Silver.
That would be
We have the youth football field named after Jack Omer, and the game field is after Ray Dunn.
the
And
reason, yeah.
he is our third Hall of Fame
Hall of Fame,
football coach that we have, and I think if I put that in a letter to all the Alex Silver alumni, I think we'll be able to get a few bucks from those guys as a result.
Trust me, that's a good start, using his name, yeah. It would be.
And we want to make sure we do it right.
Yeah.
you know, But I would like to name it after, call it the Alex Center. We don't want to call it the Hilber Center because Coach Hilber, his son works for us, and we want him to think it's all for
He could have
him.
made it.
So,
Yeah, Alex.
but there's a lot of support amongst the teaching staff for the name Alex. you know, to put on things.
Any more questions?
Just, Scott, you said about the physical ed equipment. What are you thinking timeline to,
The PE department, they probably could come up with another $70,000. I've asked, just so you're aware. So right now, we're gonna bring down the equipment that they have, and we're gonna continue to figure out how we can fundraise and grow in order to do that. So there's two entities, the athletic department, and the athletic department is presenting a $35,000 gift tonight that helps to support this, with plans on continuing to fundraise. That could go towards that. So I can see, hey, they've got a direction that way. PE department, they don't have those gifts lined up. So we'll have to come up with our own plan and start to have a rotation in order to add that additional equipment. So we are trying to coordinate a bigger ask, the community ask for organizations that are here in town. So those we want to have one at one time. This is what we're looking for. These are the community partnerships that have already provided support. This is the school district match, the funds that we put towards it, and now here's what our ask is at that point in time. And we're getting really close as far as being prepared for that. But we just don't want to come from 1,000 different angles. So right now, I think there's a pretty united vision for what this, the actual fitness center looks like. The only other area that we're having, like, looking at bigger community partnerships for is in the tech ed world for that. And if you walk into those spaces, it still feels relatively full in those zones. You'll see some key spots in the metals area that are waiting for equipment. So right now, it would be athletic department, they're ready to go. P department, they're getting organized, and they're gonna be part of a larger ask, not coming to the Board of Education for that ask, however. We're gonna see what we can do with our community partners, and then provide an update this spring/summer on State of the State board. So I will say though that we do know the cost, and it's roughly about, I think, $75,000, $80,000 for if they were to have everything to get that outfitted the way that they like. But we're trying to figure out what we can do before we come to the board.
And Life Fitness did give me a bid or a quote for the Phi Ed equipment as well, if everything was to be replaced, and the few new pieces of equipment in addition to that. We don't have any treadmills up there, so they want some treadmills in there, those want type things.
And we have a map, so we can bring that in. I mean, we can share with you the entire map of what that space will look like without the newer equipment. We've got it all color coded already, and we've got costs that go along with our first quote. We only have one quote for that.
Yeah, for the Phi Ed.
Versus Tom went out there and checked out multiple vendors for the different athletic equipment.
Could I give you just a bug in your ear for one of your things for fundraising? Next year will be the 25th anniversary of the state championship that we had a reunion before a non-conference game, something like that. Introduce them and all that, and then have some sort of get together, and I'm sure there'd be plenty of people want to throw in some.
Sure.
You know,
It's
just
an excellent idea.